2019 Porsche Macan car review. From its first appearance 4 years ago, the Porsche Macan has generated itself to be a beacon of Porscheness in the sea of luxury compact crossover mediocrity. With its responsive powertrains and sport sedan-like handling, the Macan is exactly what to drive every time a 718 Cayman is just too small, and that's earned this Porsche accolades as our best compact luxury SUV 2 octoseconds running. Now, the Macan is undergoing a mid-cycle update, the one that sees a whole new V6 engine slip underneath the hood with the volume model, various mechanical upgrades elsewhere, new interior tech, and minor design tweaks to your front and rear. The net result doesn't a whole lot alter the Macan's personality as refine it, and we're okay achievable. Engines, new and old. Although we expect the revised Macan for being offered to all of its current permutations, base, S, GTS, and Turbo, Porsche has until now unveiled just the 2019 base model plus the S. Both really should be arriving in showrooms in the year. The base Macan continues having its turbocharged 2.0-liter inline-4, great for 248 horsepower. All Macans have a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission and all-wheel drive. However, the S model, which is the most in-demand variant, trades last year's turbocharged 3.0-liter V6 for a different one. We spent nearly all our amount of time in the Macan S. Its new V6 scraps the last twin-turbo setup for just a single twin-scroll turbocharger that resides within the valley created by the two-cylinder banks. It squeezes out one more 8 horsepower and 15 lb-ft of torque, achievable totals of 348 ponies and 354 lb-ft. We clocked the first soared Macan S at 4.7 seconds from 0 to 60 miles per hour, along with the updates might subtract a tenth from that period. Compared for the base model, which we drove briefly, the V6's additional shove is most noticeable when pulling far away from a stop or when matting the pedal. When you're cruising along and request for additional acceleration, the V6 needs a moment to spool up its turbo and to be a result doesn't feel that much livelier compared to the blown 4. The 7-speed dual-clutch automatic Porsche's PDK is ultra-responsive and quick-shifting, yet also well-mannered in low-speed maneuvers. It remains arguably the most beneficial transmission of that type. For either engine, on-the-move throttle response gains advantage from switching the drive mode into Sport or Sport Plus. New for 2019, cars designed with the Sport Chrono package now include a drive mode dial about the steering wheel, as affecting other Porsches. That positioning invites more frequent switching between modes, plus the dial can also include a Sport Response button that moves all settings into max sport mode for 20 seconds using a countdown from the instrument cluster. Big new touchscreen. The bigger tech news from the cabin will be the switch to a bigger 10.9-inch touchscreen. Its ultra-sharp resolution is most evident inside full-width navigation mode, the location where the Macan's new standard LTE net connection incorporates Google Maps. The system is extremely customizable via configurable tiles in 3 various sizes, which can customize the home screen together with notification watchouts. Doing so, however, isn't work of any moment, as well as for some owners the system's complexity may need engaging the aid of the techs of your team to obtain the setup exactly the way you need it. Outside with the central dash, the inner is largely carry-over, having a ramp-like center console that's the location of a blizzard of nearly identical buttons. A smaller, GT tire is a brand new option, but wet are more inclined to spring for that excellent optional 17-way power sport seats, that offer adjustable under-thigh support and are also fantastically good at holding you set up during hard cornering. Crouched and watchy to pounce. And the Macan does invite hard cornering, greater than almost any other SUV. It is constantly used the Volkswagen Group's MLB platform rather versus the newer MLB Evo version that underpins the Audi Q5, along with 2019's tuning changes to your anti-roll bars, the typical coil springs, as well as the optional air springs, as being the engineers make an effort to dial in additional neutral cornering. The S also gets beefier brake rotors, and both models will have improved brake feel. As before, the Macan rides on staggered size rubber. For 2019, the top wheel width increases from 8.0 to 8.5 inches with the 19 and 21-inch wheels and not the 20s. Tire section width remains unchanged. The cars we drove didn't have the optional air springs but rode around the standard coils with adaptive dampers. The ride is firm though with no harshness evident, at least not within the gentle roads of Mallorca, Spain. The precise steering would be a boon within the narrow streets, and around the numerous switchbacks we encountered the Macan felt much more a sports sedan than an SUV. It isn't exactly the skillful tuning from the powertrain and chassis that creates the Macan delicious. Porsche engineers make use of physics, too. As you might guess from thinking about it, the Macan is less than most SUVs. At 63.9 inches tall, it's 1.1 inches lower compared to the Jaguar F-Pace and 1.4 inches under an Audi Q5, for instance. And while sporty versions of competing SUVs can be done to handle remarkably well, from driving their high driver's perch often feels at odds with those abilities. The Macan has none of these awkwardness, instead imparting confidence since the driver explores its capabilities. Its athleticism just seems natural. The other side, however, would be that the Macan's tidy dimensions go on a toll on its utility. The rear seat is cramped, and end up forgetting sticking a passenger inside middle. The low roofline and also the rounded rump also impinge about the cargo hold. Luggage space is usually a sedan-like 18 cubic feet behind the corner seats, 9 cubic feet less than within a Q5. For people who can accept those limitations, the 2019 Macan provides a driving experience unlike that regarding other SUVs. And should you get a Macan too small, well, almost always there is the new Macan.